How's it, football family or soccer brothers and sisters? Welcome to week 2, episode 1 of the Panenka Pundit show. So you'll see we have a new face right here. I'm sure a lot of you people will know this dude right here. I always see him commenting on Facebook and waxing lyrically about his football team or the lack thereof. Sorry about that, Brian. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm great, man. I'm great. Tired, but as always, but good. Tired of Arsenal.
So I asked Brian yesterday to join the show, and he said immediately he wants to join it. So so thank you for agreeing on such a short notice. And then we have Louis. Louis, what's up, man?
Lekker, excited for today. It's going to be good. I don't have a lot to talk about, Man U. It was a quiet week for us, but I think today's going to be a good one. First away game, excited.
Yeah, so Louis has been on every single episode of the show so far. So I call it a show as if I have this amazing production value or budget that we spend. It's not a show, but in our hearts and in our minds, it's one. So let's kick off with something we haven't really talked about too much. Tottenham and Man City from last week, Sunday. We are about a week late about it, but it's because we record the show on Sunday morning. So please be patient if we report a little bit late on certain things. But who here predicted Tottenham to win 1-0 over Man City?
I think we said something like 3-0 or 4-0 last week. I think that was our prediction from a City's point of view, because it just makes sense. With the talent they have, with the talent that Tottenham doesn't have, and still they. But I think that's what we said about Arsenal as well this week. It's a team that people kind of write off. So it's a perfect opportunity to be a great team. So big ups to Tottenham. I think City showed their worth yesterday, but yeah, well done to Tottenham for. And remember, you're playing City twice a year. They've already ticked them off once. So well done, great stuff.
Yeah, they actually did. I checked afterwards. They did the double over City last season, which is actually quite crazy. So yeah, congratulations on Tottenham on that. I don't think anybody predicted Nuno to actually do that, because new manager, there's all this drama with Harry Kane. Man City fans are singing, Harry Kane wants to join us. And then the Tottenham fans are singing, are you watching Harry Kane? So, and still, no confirmation what's happening with that dude. Brian, you have an opinion on this?
Yeah, I was going to say, basically, that's the shocker for me, because obviously the stuff that was happening with Harry Kane, when your star striker is I think about Arsenal, if like Aubameyang was going to leave, it would be like, oh my word, like we wouldn't play well. So I was surprised, but maybe they were pissed. Maybe they were pissed that City were coming after Kane, so they were like, cool, let's delay. So
And I think Son has a lot to prove this year as well. He's going to probably become the number one striker now, and he's going to have to carry that team. And if he can do what he did on Sunday, yes, please. I'm excited for Tottenham's scores.
So nobody predicted that. So good job on Nuno. So I have to eat a piece of humble pie for the first week, because I said I don't think Nuno and Tottenham are going to do anything. So Nuno's a good manager, but I don't think he's a championship manager, a top 4 manager. But he's had an awesome start of the week so far. Let's see how the rest of the week pans out. Then just about the results from Liverpool. Liverpool won 2-0. Pretty much routine over Burnley. Was it 2-0 or was my...
Yeah.
Let me just quickly check. Yeah, it was 2-0. Yeah, there we go. So good on them. And then also Man City 5-0 Norwich. It feels like it's so weird. So me and Louis was talking before we started. It just feels like they do that. They'll have a shocker game or two, and then all of a sudden they'll come back and then they'll win 4 or 5-0. I have no idea how they do that, but yeah, they did it this weekend. Grealish got his first kind of goal.
No, that was lucky. That's a fluke, man. You can't call that a goal.
Yeah. So Brian, we talked about Grealish. So obviously he's a very good player, and a lot of people were wanting him, after watching the Euros and after his fantastic season at Villa. But we all came to the conclusion that we don't think he actually makes Man City better, or he's not that type of 100 million pound type of player for City. So we all came to that conclusion. Do you want to weigh in your opinion on that? Are we wrong? Do you feel the same?
I think the biggest thing with City that makes City is that their bench is a starting 11. And I think that's what they do. They invest enough money into their bench. So cool. They take off Grealish, they put on Foden. It's the same player, same talent. So it's not a case of making them better. It's just if Foden's injured or something like that, Grealish is just as good, if not better. So I think Pep and Man City, they invest quite well into their bench. I think that's what puts them ahead of the game. So I don't think Grealish makes them better, but he's just as good.
I think I said that last week as well, Brian. I said, they can basically field the B team anytime, and their B team will be just as strong as the A team. And that's amazing. Yeah. There's not a lot of squads that can say that. We talked about Tottenham. If Harry Kane goes, what's going to happen? In the sense of City, when Aguero goes, they just continue. It's not it's a loss, but it doesn't change their setup. I have to agree with you. Big ups to Pep for making those tough calls.
And that's why they win games like 5-0, whatever have you, because you'll see the first half, maybe it'll go 1-0 at half time and 0-0 or something like that. Pep will bring on one or two players and it changes the game completely, and then boom, 3-4 goals in. So it's insane how you can change up the game just like that. Yeah.
That's true. And so on that topic also, so we talked about, we gave our opinions on top four about a week ago. Louis, I can't believe it's a week ago already. We gave all of our predictions of about top four. And one of the reasons why City is always up there is because they've got a big squad. They've got so many starting players, and if they get injuries, they can just pop someone from the bench over. And that's one of the reasons we felt that we don't think Liverpool's going to have that amazing season if they get an injury or two again, because the squad's not that big enough. Do you want to give us a prediction on your top four for the season?
Arsenal number one.
No, Arsenal's not going to be in there, unfortunately. I don't think so. I think Chelsea obviously will be in there. City will be in there. United will be in there, definitely. I think they're going to have a crazy season. Who else did I say? So City, Chelsea, United. Sure. I don't know for the fourth one. Hey, I don't want to say Liverpool because I also think they're going to have ups and downs this season. I don't know. If Kane stays at Tottenham, maybe. If he leaves, then I wouldn't put them in top four. I don't know. It might be a shocker. You might have a Leicester in there, or Everton. But doubt it.
It will be great for Leicester. It's been a while. It's been a while that since Leicester's been in the top four. Every year they come very close. They're usually third, fourth, and then they drop out on the last day. So I agree. I think with the type of signings they made as well, why not? I'll throw Leicester in as well.
But that's always the one that you have to compete on. There's always 3 or 4 teams that could be there. 1, 2, 3 is kind of there, and the fourth one it could be it comes down to the last couple of days of the season technically. So I don't know.
All right, and where do you think Arsenal's going to end up, man?
Ish. I'll tell you, if they end up at 8th or lower again, then Arteta needs to go. I'm probably going to say they'll end up at 6th. That's 6th or 5th. 5th is really pushing it, I think. It has to be better than 8th. If we finish 8th again, then Arteta needs to go 100%.
Do you think Arteta will stay till the end of the season? Do you think that's a possibility?
Well, that's a good question. I was thinking to myself, there's all these rumors going on. If he loses today against Chelsea and he loses next week to City, then he's in hot water. Chances of us losing both those games are pretty high at the moment. Look, we got a good record against Chelsea at home, but the way we are now, the morale's not there. Aubameyang's had COVID, Lacazette's got COVID, so I don't know what's going to happen there. So if we win those 2 games or draw them, or whatever, he's still in. If he loses those 2, I don't know. I think they're going to start questioning him. But the thing is, the board and everyone's bought into him. They're looking for the long-term game. This is why we buying lots of 20-year-olds and something like that. They're building a squad. So, and our owners, they don't really care. As long as we sell tickets and people buy kits, we can finish 10th, 12th. They don't care. So so I think he would stay. I hope. Well, I don't know. I'd like to give him a chance. But if we're going to drop down to the second half of the table by Christmas, then he needs to go 100%. Conte's available. Let's get him.
Sure.
So Conte's available, but do you actually think the board is going to Do you think they're gonna handle that dude or take his? I don't want to say it's nonsense, but it's definitely not nonsense. He knows what he wants and he wants what he wants. Do you think they'll listen to him or give him what he wants?
I don't know. You see, the thing is, I don't mind right now. I know it's cut for Arsenal fans and for Arsenal and stuff like that, but I don't mind waiting a bit of time to kind of have a manager that's young that can grow the team, like an Arsene Wenger. I'll buy into the next Arsene Wenger, but I don't want to buy now. I don't want to get in a manager like a Conte, like a Mourinho, or someone like that that'll basically be with us for like 2 seasons and then F off, like, because that doesn't help us. You fix the squad now, we get into top 4, and then 2 years later we 8th again. It doesn't help. We need to build like a legacy. So if it's Arteta and we're gonna have to deal with being mid-table for the next 2-3 years, I'm okay with that. As long as we're building a legacy, that's what I think personally. But I know a lot of people will disagree with me, so it's a touchy subject. Because everyone's impatient when it's not.
I think Arteta is the best one at this stage and we spoke about it with Scully as well. He's an Arsenal man, so give him his chance, give him opportunity. It hasn't been too long. Ole has been with United now for 3 years. And we can see the difference now. At the beginning, he had a great run. We dropped out of a couple of things. We got kind of scared and said, this is not the right man for United. We need a serial winner like a Mourinho or whatever. But give Arteta that chance. I think the board just needs to believe in him, and hopefully he can get through this season better than 8th.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So well, I hope for your guys' sake something works out. So obviously I'm not used to that. So every time we want someone to build a squad, it's like an 18-month period. So a short honeymoon and then it's over, basically. But on that note, we are going to try something different and new on the show. All right, we're going to try and do a combined 11. All right, so me and Brian are going to try and try and do a starting 11 with the combined Chelsea and Arsenal players, and I have no idea how we're going to do that. So Louis is going to help us with that. So whatever's going to happen, if me and Brian can't decide on who's the goalkeeper, who's the midfielder, who's the right back, Louis has to come and he has to make the final call. All right, are you ready for this, awesome, Brian?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's go. We're starting
cool.
Keeper.
Yeah, we're starting with keeper, and I think this is going to be one of the.
That's a no-brainer.
I didn't want to say
easy choice.
Okay, so in goal, we are going to stick with Mendy, correct? You guys are happy with that?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd go Mendy as well.
So then for the formation, I think we just keep it standard 4-3-3, not to make it too tricky or too complicated. 4 at the back, 3 in the middle, 3 in front. So starting at the back, let's start at right back. So I want to know, are you brave enough to nominate anyone before I mention our players or my option?
No, because that's the problem right now with Arsenal is Bellerin's a joke, and we don't really have a replacement. So right back is going to have to be someone from Chelsea. So who do you want to put in there?
So Cesar Azpilicueta has been so amazing for us, but he's getting a little bit old now, and I just think we would have not won that Champions League final. You guys haven't congratulated me on that, by the way. We have not won that Champions League final. If it was not for Reece James, he was absolutely amazing. He had Sterling in his pocket the whole time. So I would like to put Reece James as right back there. You agree?
Agree.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So there yeah, he's a good talent. So then we go to the 2 central defenders. So I have an opinion, right? And I'm going to say, on the right-hand side, I'm going to say Ben White. Or one of the 2 is going to be Ben White. So it just feels like in the modern game, you do need one defender who's very good with the ball at his feet. And I think Ben White is that. Yeah. I know he's only been 1 game for Arsenal. He's young. It's too early to say a bunch of stuff. But I think the only player we have who's good with the ball at his feet is Thiago Silva. He's very old. Or we have Christensen, who's also very good. But I think Ben White's a good option for our one defender. Do you agree?
Yep.
I agree. But purely because I'm just excited for him.
Okay, cool.
I can't really judge him on his talents at the moment, especially with Arsenal. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what he can bring. So I'm pretty keen to have him there.
Okay, cool. Then somebody else, our next defender, I'm going to say is going to be Rudiger. Don't know if you want to fight me on this, Brian. Do you agree?
It depends. If our other central defender can stop getting injured, or any of them can stop getting injured, then maybe I consider an Arsenal player in there. Gabriel's pretty good for us there, but he's injured and like he's still like trying to find himself. Like I think Rudiger's a good fit. Experienced and fits the role quite well there. So
yeah,
there's going to be all Chelsea players, aren't there? Hey.
I don't know. Well, I have to find about it. So Rudiger.
The worst time to do this.
So Rudiger, I just thought we could use him because he's extremely physical. So if the one player in your defense is good with the ball at his feet, and you've got one who's out and out physical, he goes to bully people, I would say Rudiger would be a very, very good option. Then on left back, so
Kenny.
I'll actually give that to you. So I'm very happy. I have a big love-hate relationship with Marcos Alonso. He scores the most amazing free kicks and goals, but then he also leads a lot of goals. And Ben Chilwell's been good for us, but I'll give you this one. I think he deserves it. You happy with that?
I think that's exciting talent for the future, that guy. Scully called him the next Arsenal captain.
Captain, he has to be, yeah.
That was his prediction as well. So
yeah. All right. So our back four, I think our back four is looking quite solid so far.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, agreed.
So now we go to the midfield, and I'm just going to start with this. I think that midfield needs to be all out Chelsea.
At the moment.
I'll tell you. So I'm going to give you guys 3 players, right? Then, if you want me to explain, I will. But I don't think I need to do this.
Why do you don't need to? I know.
So the first two of the three at least Chelsea. 2 of the 3.
Yeah. So I have on the right hand side, I'll have N'Golo Kante as 8 floating 6 thereabouts. I'll have Jorginho as our 6. I also have a love-hate relationship with that dude, but he is one of the nominees for UEFA Player of the Year alongside Kante. Yep. So you can't discredit that. Then my other genuine 8/10, I would say, is going to be Mason Mount. And I know this sounds like such a Chelsea supporter to you guys, but for me, so he won our Player of the Year last season. It's been phenomenal. He's so young, and he already created, I think, the second or the first most goals, or he was involved in the second or first most goals in the Premier League of last season. So I would put him as my number 8 or 10 there. Do you want to fight me on that? You want to say Odegaard?
I want to say Odegaard, yes, if we count him. Look, to be honest, this is very subjective, but I don't rate Mount, to be honest. I just think, yes, he has some really good games, but he also has some really bad games, or he just doesn't show up. Personally, I think, especially at the Euros, like, it's not Chelsea, then it's England. Mm-hmm. Just doesn't wow me as a player, to be honest. And I know I might get a lot of flack for that, especially coming from an Arsenal fan. But I think the only other person I'd compete with is Odegaard. And again, but I can't really judge him on his talent right now because he hasn't even had a full season in the Premier League. Just because I'm excited about him. I mean, White and Odegaard, they're only 2 really exciting players at the moment for Arsenal. So that's the only other choice I would change.
Brian, what about Smith Rowe? What's your opinion on him?
Smith Rowe, Flip. I think he's still got time. He's. I'm glad they gave him the 10 shirt. He was bold enough to ask for it. But now he has to prove himself. So I'm not gonna just choose him. Like cool. I said White. I said Odegaard, and they don't really have experience with Arsenal yet a lot. But with Smith Rowe, I just feel like, cool, he's been there for a lot since the academy days, growing up and stuff like that. But I still think he needs to prove himself. Enough for me to say yes, like I'll put him against, above all these other players.
Okay, so if I put Kai Havertz in the mix,
sure.
I'm gonna. So that was
Does he not generally play front 3?
So he can play. Well, we don't play in this formation. We don't play a 4-3-3. So the reason I chose Mount over Havertz is that Mount can play a lot of roles, and he's a lot better off the ball than most other attacking front 3 or 10s that you get. So he's a very good 8. He can play 6. He can play 10. So that's the reason I put him there, is that he's quite flexible. So it looks like we can't make a choice on this. So I'm going to say Louis.
I think as the referee, I'll say, just to make it fair and to get Arsenal some players into the squad, let's go with Odegaard.
Odegaard. Okay, cool. So Odegaard there. All right, so we got that so far. Our midfield, it actually still looks fine. Conte, that dude is fantastic. I don't need to explain anything about him. So our midfield looks great. Let's quickly start with our attacking front three. So this is going to be really tough. All right, so let us start on the right
Depends.
side.
If you base it on form, then it's not going to be hard.
Well, not really. So I actually think I would actually give the right wing to Saka. I don't know if you agree. I think he's a fantastic talent. He's going to be really, really good for you guys. You can give it to Smith Rowe if you want to, if you give it to Saka, but I think Saka can take the right-hand side.
Yeah.
So you have to remember, so Louis, and then we can also debate on Havertz, because he also plays on the right side, the right wing side.
Yo.
This is good. This is going to be tough. So if we have to look at attackers, I would say on the right side, we can, oh geez, this is getting tougher than I thought. We have to look at the left side also. Would you rather have Saka or Aubameyang in the front three? Can I ask you that, Brian?
Again, depends on form. If it's form, Saka all the way. If it's experience, I'd rather put Aubameyang because yes, Saka can bring a lot in terms of creativity and stuff like that. But if you're looking for a clinical finisher, then Aubameyang. So you have to ask yourself what kind of strategy you're going for. You know, do you need more balls passed in the box, or do you need someone to score goals? Because then I'd rather choose Aubameyang, even though he hasn't been scoring at the moment, getting to the form. But yeah, I'd rather choose him in terms of finisher, creative. Rather choose.
Let's do this. I have an idea. So before we discuss our wings, right? Let's look who's going to be the all-out striker or attacker, because that's going to play a big part in who's going to be playing around him. So
yeah,
there's probably only one.
There's probably only one for now. So I think it's going to be Lukaku. Do you agree on that, Brian?
Well, can we talk about this tomorrow again? Let's see how you
So
I'm scared. It's going to be bad. Definitely not Werner.
At the moment, no. So Lukaku, are you good with that? Lukaku is the number 9?
Yep.
Okay, our referee Louis is happy with that. Now we have to find someone playing around him. This gets very tough. So I have to choose between Mount, Havertz, Ziyech, Werner or Pulisic, and I have no idea what to do. Who would you want to play alongside Lukaku? Would you like to play him alongside Saka or Aubameyang? I'll give you this opportunity.
Both.
You can choose one wing.
Bro, I think Aubameyang on the left, Lukaku in the middle, Saka on the right.
Okay, so I'm not going to give you.
I think we've set Saka on the right. I'm happy with that as well. Because of what he did for England, because of the balls he produced, and if a guy like that comes in with the type of crosses that he can deliver, and you have a out-and-out striker like Lukaku there, you're going to have goals. So Saka, Lukaku, let's fight about the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Okay. So
does Havertz play on the left? Does he play on the right?
He usually plays on the right, but he can play on the left in this case. It doesn't matter. He's a good talent, so he can play 10 right, left. It doesn't matter. False 9. Left is going to be between. So I wouldn't give it to Werner because of the season he had. I do like Pulisic, but he's not a starting player for Chelsea at the moment. So it has to be between Havertz and Mount. So I think, Ref, Louis, can you make this call for us? I don't know. So I want to put Mount in because he's been good all season for us last year, but he doesn't want to. Well, Brian doesn't want to put him in. So Louis, you have to play Ref on this one, I think.
In the background, I'm just working through the Arsenal players that I think can fit in that position, and there's not. Look, it's great names. You got, let's say, Pepe can play there, Aubameyang can play there, Willian, Lacazette. We've missed a couple of them, but yes, and there's no one that I feel are up to the standards at this stage of Mount and Havertz, and just based on what this kid can still do, I think I'm gonna have to go with Mount.
Yeah, it feels super unfair to me to do this squad and someone who scored in the final of the Champions League is not there. And that's very fun. But that's how it is. So that's our starting 11. Tell us if you agree or disagree with it. I think we've got a good team. I think this team could be a potential number 1.
They can still lose to United. On penalties.
Anyway. On penalties.
Look at this,
in 90 minutes.
Look at this United hijacking our convo. Anyway, all right. So, guys, we need to go into something just a little bit different from the Premier League. And we are heading into the Euro Player of the Year and the Euro Manager of the Year. And what is your opinion? Who's going to get it? Brian, do you want to give your opinion on the Player of the Year?
None of them.
None of them. No, absolutely nothing.
Any of them.
Any of them. So there's not one of the three players that you think are good enough.
Probably Kevin De Bruyne.
Dude. Okay, so you're going to go for Kevin De Bruyne. I'm going to be total biased, but I think it's fair.
Actually, no, not De Bruyne, because he didn't have a good Euros. Everyone's rating him just because he's a great player. But I don't think he had the best Euros.
No, he didn't. But he still is a fantastic player.
I don't know. I'd probably go then with Jorginho.
Okay, Jorginho. So I'll say I'm going to go with N'Golo Kante. Because I don't think it's ever happened where, well, I don't. So if I'm wrong about this, someone correct me. But Champions League semi-final, both legs, he got man of the match. And in the final, he got man of the match. I don't know if that's happened before, but he's just fantastic. And without him, I can tell you our squad looks terrible. So I would say, Kante, you're on Jorginho. Louis, final call.
I just want to read you some stats here. Just listen to this because you're both discrediting De Bruyne now. So domestic league, here we go. 25. No, but listen, there's a Man City player. I don't even like him, but 25 appearances in the domestic league, 6 goals, 12 assists. Euros, 4 appearances, 1 goal, 2 assists. Champions League, 8 appearances, 3 goals, 4 assists. So this, even though he doesn't have, let's call it, the hype that Kante is receiving, those are brilliant stats. If you go to Kante, 0 goals throughout all 3 of those platforms, domestic, Euro, Champions League. And he had 3 assists across them. Man of the Match awards, 4. Yes, they call it the Player of the Match in Champions League and Star of the Match in Euros. But I think there's a bit more hype around Kante than he deserves. And if you go to Jorginho, he's won the Euros and he's won the Champions League. So it's a difficult one. I think in achievement alone, Jorginho, on stats alone, De Bruyne, but that's a difficult one. I wouldn't put Kante in there. I think there's more hype around Kante. I think Kante is a brilliant player. But for an award like this, you have to have the stats behind you as well, and he doesn't. Where Jorginho's at least got 2 trophies, and De Bruyne has got all of the stats. So let's go on trophies alone, Jorginho.
Okay, so trophies. So it looks like Jorginho's winning this round, and I'm losing this one. So Brian said Jorginho, his final call was Jorginho. Louis, your final call was Jorginho, and mine was Kante. So I'm only saying Kante because I know when he's not playing that squad, how completely different we look and how fragile we feel whenever we do that. But let's call it. So for this show, I'm outnumbered 2-1. Jorginho will take it. Well, that's your opinion on it. Now we go to the managers. All right, UEFA managers. The nominations are Roberto Mancini, Thomas Tuchel, and Pep Guardiola. So, Brian, your 2 cents. Who do you think deserves the trophy or deserves the bragging rights?
Sorry, I lost you there for a second. Can you hear me?
Us. Yeah, I can hear you. So we talked about the manager of the season, and the nominations are Roberto Mancini. It is going to be Thomas Tuchel and Pep Guardiola. So who do you think deserves the title?
I'd go Thomas Tuchel.
Okay, Brad, definitely right. Louis? Yeah, that was so fast. Louis?
I'll go Mancini, just based on the Euros and what he achieved with that squad. The winning ratio, they haven't lost a game in something like 34, 35 something games. If you look at those names, yes, they're a brilliant squad, but I think everyone said either England or a Belgium or someone like that, and Italy proved us all wrong. So I'll go Mancini. Well done on winning the Euros,
Yeah. So for me, it's very tough. Just to add that point, it's very tough to choose someone who's only being nominated in a tournament of about 6 or 7 games. So that's a little tough to me, given that to him. I understand your point. But if you talk about manager, something that's been extraordinary, so I'm not saying what he's done has not been extraordinary, but it's only a tournament, right? Of 6 or 7 games. And I feel like giving a trophy for someone for such a short period of time is a little bit too easy, if you know what I mean. And I think you know where I'm going with this. I'm going to go with Thomas Tuchel. So that was, I just think he's the real deal at the moment. And I think, Louis, you saw my comment when Frank Lampard got sacked. I was like, super disappointed. Yeah, so I was very disappointed, upset about it. And I remember when they found him, he got sacked at PSG because he clashed with the people upstairs. And I'm like, well, if there's one club you don't do, that's at Chelsea. I didn't think he was going to last, actually. And so far, he looks like a fantastic guy. And I think... I predicted this, right? And my witnesses are at the school that I worked at. But I predicted before Thomas Tuchel came in that we are going to win the Champions League purely because of chaos. So Chelsea always thrives in chaos. But anyway, off that topic, I think it's going to be Thomas Tuchel. So for this round, Thomas T, you guys agree with me?
Yep, it's fine.
All right, cool.
Agreed.
This was a massive, massive fun episode so far. So just to end it off quickly, tell me, Brian, prediction for the game of Arsenal and Chelsea. What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. It all depends on the team that we bring. I believe that Odegaard can't play because he's still requiring a visa. But he is in England, so I don't know how. So I'm assuming like a work visa or something like that, so that he can actually be in the squad. And Aubameyang, there's questions over him playing today because he did have COVID, but I mean, he only had COVID like a week ago. So the way I see it is, I don't think they're going to risk him. I heard talks of Martinelli practicing as a number 9 because Lacazette's also got COVID, so he's out.
Yeah.
So right now, if you look at the Brentford game, we had zero creativity. So the way I see it is, I'm just like, I don't know if we're going to bring much opportunity and chances, but we do have a good record against Chelsea. And we're at home and there's fans there now. So maybe that will bring us a little bit of a spark. But yeah, I think Chelsea are going to win today. I don't think it'll be a thrashing, hopefully not. But maybe a 1-0 or a 2-1. That's my prediction, Chelsea.
Yeah, so my prediction earlier in the week was 2-1 for Chelsea, or it's going to be 2-2 draw. It depends. It all depends on our starting lineup also. I just talked about N'Golo Kante, if he plays or doesn't play. But I think if he plays, we might get the 2-1. And if he doesn't play, I think it might be 2-2. But it's the Emirates. It's going to be tough. It's always tough. It's never easy. No matter what happens with your squad or what happens with our squad, every derby is always, it's almost like your form of the past weeks just go out the door and you play completely different. So that's the cool thing about derby days. All right, so I'm going to stick to 2-1. So Brian, you say 1-0, and Louis, have you changed your mind about anything? 2-0 Chelsea. All right.
2-0 Chelsea, it must be.
All right, so let's see what happens with the game. So that's all the time we have for today. Brian, dude, thank you so much for tuning in.
Pleasure.
And joining us like a day before the time when I messaged you on Facebook first. No, can't believe you. Everybody's been saying yes. It's fantastic. So it was good to have you here. It's good to have your 2 cents on the show. Yeah. Louis, our referee for the show, thank you again for joining again. This was awesome. And we'll see you guys in the weekend. Enjoy the football and always remember to chip the keeper.